Today is November 29th, and Tommy DeVito has more wins than Bryce Young.
Ooh.
That has been my sad stat of the week. A lot of good games this past week. A lot of sad games for some of us. We took a week off for Thanksgiving. Got to enjoy some turkey. Watch the Cowboys beat up on another bad team. Zach, this is such professional podcasting we're doing here.
We're both see it coming.
We're we're gonna jump into our first topic here. All right, and we're gonna go stick with the Panthers here and talk about the failure to launch that has been the Panthers with trading away. They don't have a first round pick this year. They now fired their head coach. Bryce Young has looked not great. Their offensive line is basically a subway turnstile, and they've been just basically horrible. Uh, what are y'all's take? Like, what's the outlook in y'all's opinion for the Panthers? We'll go with Mr. Z Money over there with the hat sideways.
Um, I don't know. The real question is who they're gonna hire for head coach. I feel like they're just a dumpster fire right now. Like who? What's their move? Like who do you go hire? I don't. D'Amico Ryans was the Texans hire that turned out great. I don't like all the blame being put on Bryce Young. His DeVito stats. I thought wins didn't define quarterbacks, Maynard. You
It
know,
doesn't. I have not said that Bryce Young's look bad. I'm sticking 10 toes
Justin Herbert
down.
get a win this week?
Huh?
Did Justin Herbert get a win this week?
No. But we're gonna talk about that later. So we want to define. Hey, if you want to define wins and postseason success, that's what you and Ryan. That's what you and Ryan like to do, right? Then Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo is a top five quarterback. What was that, Zach?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Jesus Christ. If you're going to define wins and losses and like Ryan does postseason success purely, then Jimmy Garoppolo is a
Not
top five
purely.
quarterback.
I never said purely.
When I
It
ask
has
you
to
why is Joe
count.
Burrow better than Justin Herbert, you go, well, Joe Burrow went to a Super Bowl.
It's not the only
Same
reason.
logic.
Those
Same
are
But I
logic
hard.
with
mean, going to a Super Bowl means something. It does.
Jimmy Garoppolo. That's why he's
It's not
benched
the
for Aiden
only
O'Connell.
Jimmy G is
thing.
better than Justin Herbert. Yeah, we agree, Maynard.
Okay, well, I'm glad you said that. But let's
Can't,
let's
I want to go
let's
back.
not talk
Go
about.
back.
Let's going back to the Carolina Panthers. Ryan, what's the outlook in your minds for these guys for the rest of the year going into next year?
Yeah, I don't know. To talk about Bryce Young, I don't know if he's been put in a situation where we're like able to have a understanding of like how he's going to be able to play. He might be good, he might be bad. I don't think that he has the weapons in Carolina or the offensive line or the defense to justify any like hatred on the guy. But at the same time, you can't also say like he's going to be great because we haven't seen it yet. If you look at his tape, I've seen a couple tweets over the past week, and if you look at his tape, like he's looking at all of his reads, like he's not just sticking to one guy and like throwing the ball, like he's looking at his reads. And when you look at his offensive weapons, he has Thielen, old receiver who like Minnesota let go because he was declining. They drafted Mingo, and he has obviously not lived up to any of the hype, if there was any hype. And then they signed Sanders, who has done absolutely nothing.
What about
I mean,
Jason
he's got
Horn?
nothing to work with. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. They're looking for a new head coach. Obviously, fired Frank Reich this week. I don't know what their options are. I feel like if they could land, who's that OC out of
Then,
Washington, the enemy?
oh yeah, but he's probably going to get the Washington job. They're going to
Yeah.
fire
So
Ron
like,
Rivera.
I don't know how many. I,
Like
personally, I don't know how
who are
many
the top
dudes. Like,
who
who
are
are
the
you going to
top
go
candidates,
hire?
Ryan? Yeah, who are the
The
top candidates?
top candidates are like Ben Johnson, Brian Flores. Uh, I mean,
I've
there's
seen Nick. Have y'all seen Nick Saban's name for that job? I've seen Nick
uh,
Saban's name like often, and I don't know if it's like complete just BS and just like sports writers trying to, write an article or something, but maybe like it seems like Nick Saban's time at Alabama is coming to an end at some point.
You heard it here first on Pocket Parlay. Ryan is calling Nick Saban.
No, I'm not calling it.
Carolina Panthers.
I'm not calling it,
My
but I'm just
God.
saying. It's not crazy. It's not absolutely insane.
It's considering
He's
he's under
tried it
contract
before.
till he's under contract till 2028 and will never get fired. I really doubt he's going to leave for one of the worst teams. When I look at the Panthers, like obviously the big thing is the coaching vacancy, but there's probably going to be a lot of job openings this offseason for head coaches. I mean, you got the Chargers, you're going to have probably the Commanders, you're going to have the Panthers, probably have the Patriots. That's just like a few off the top of my head. And when you look and like if you're a head coach, do you really want to go into a team
The Bears.
that's been horrible? Bears, yeah, Bears is another one. Do you really want to go into a team that has no first round pick this year and a terrible team? The only way they're going to get a first round pick is if they dismantle the decent defense that they have right now. I mean, J.C. Horn or Brian Burns, someone's going to have to go. And Zach, I'm going to address what you said a little earlier. I've been 10 toes down on Bryce Young. I will say C.J. Stroud is better than I thought he was, but I still think in the long run, Bryce Young will be better than C.J. Stroud.
No.
Put it on the board.
Stop. He's competing for an MVP in his rookie year. I don't know the statistics on that, but what rookie quarterback in his rookie year is top 3, top 5 in MVP voting going to week 13? Not many. It has
Not
to
many.
be a very slim amount.
Brock Purdy would have been if he started his whole rookie year.
What about Justin Herbert, his rookie year?
San Francisco is a total
You gotta
different.
win.
You talked about Jimmy. Like San
Yeah.
Francisco is a total different ball game when you talk about the
I don't know.
quarterback.
I just want to throw that out. Justin Herbert, by the way, not in the MVP conversation. You got to have team wins. It's why C.J. Stroud is slowly falling out. Not because he's been playing bad, because they're not. If you can't win MVP if you don't win.
Almost got it this last week in Jacksonville.
They almost didn't. They almost did. That was impressive.
So we're just gonna give it to Jalen Hurts. Is that who the MVP is gonna be?
Dude, your guess is as good as mine. Tua, I guess, has an argument for it. I mean,
No, not
Jalen
after
Hurts
this
kinda
last
has the
week.
best.
Not after
That's
this
true.
last week. It's
There's
Jalen
no
Hurts.
one guy.
He hasn't had a bad game. And there's
Or-
been other quarterbacks that like have lost bad games. Like Pat Mahomes lost a bad game 2 weeks ago.
I don't think Lamar Jackson's out of the running. I mean,
No, if he has a crazy second half, like last third, he could.
Yeah.
so that's still possible. Moving on to our topic, a team that I guess because we didn't mention any of them, has no MVP candidates, the Cowboys. And do we believe they are for real
Wait,
or are they fraudulent?
Did you say no MVP candidates? I
MVP.
thought our quarterback is top 5 in MVP.
What about our cornerback
odds.
that's better than your first round draft pick? What about our
I'm
cornerback?
not
Yeah.
here to get angry,
year.
but our quarterback Dak Prescott is number
I'm
5
just saying
as far as odds go.
betting odds on what we just talked about here. We just talked about who the top ones are, and none of y'all mentioned Dak.
Dak is top 5. He is.
Dak is a top 5
He
MVP
is.
candidates.
I wasn't here to talk Dak all day, but yes.
No. Listen,
I
I'm
think
not
he's
against.
5, but he's top 5.
I'm not against Dak being MVP candidate. It's like been the best year of his career.
Been really good.
He's gonna have a record.
Baby mama.
But once again, my God, this guy's always on his phone. Once again, though, I think the only problem with Dak is you have to win your division, in my mind, to win MVP. Like that's one thing I'm gonna.
I don't disagree. Yeah, I agree.
So that's something I'm gonna hold Dak against. So it's hard to give a MVP to a wild card team.
Jalen Hurts is gonna win it. He's been like so back to like the record thing. Like I'm with you. Jalen Hurts gets it because of record. And maybe Dak had a little bit better of a year. And I think at this point, I think it's fair to say that Dak's had a better year than Jalen Hurts. But they have the winning record and they've been winning more games. So at the end of the day, it's Jalen Hurts.
So
Yeah.
Jalen, Pat, Lamar, then Dak for odds.
Dak is 4th.
Who's 5?
5's Dak. That's what I meant. Jalen, Pat, Lamar, Dak.
That's
I'm
You still just doing 4.
Wait, Jalen, Pat, Lamar, Dak. Oh shit! Yeah, let's go 4.
That's 4.
Okay,
There we go.
We got there eventually.
Counting is hard. It is.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a tough thing.
My name.
But But so Zach, you're the one that want to talk about if we thought the Cowboys were fraudulent. What do you mean by fraudulent? Like Super Bowl contenders? Like, are you talking about like, could they lose in the first round of the playoffs?
Me and Ryan talked about this whenever we lost the 49ers. The one thing about the 49ers loss was that it tampered our expectations than what we thought. But after we keep on building wins, building wins, and like kicking people's ass, not just like beyond bland, setting records, like helping us with that,
5 TDs.
Insane.
filling that Diggs role perfectly. Like we're starting to just like stack wins, and when that Eagles game comes up, and if we beat them, we're not going to win the division. But if we go play the Eagles rather than 49ers, I like our odds in the playoffs.
Ryan,
Yeah,
you want to
for
take this
me,
one?
yeah, for me, just as a Cowboys fan over the past couple years, like rooting for Dak all season. And to be fair, like this is probably his best regular season, aside from his rookie year in 2016. Um, but I don't trust the guy come playoff time. Like I've seen it time and time again, where whether it's first round or like wild card, second round type deal, we just don't get it done. So I have really like I love this Cowboys team, and I think this team is different because of the defense that we have. And if Dak is able to like not turn the ball over like he has in past seasons, obviously we'll find success. But I don't trust the guy. I don't trust the guy come playoff time.
Who are you scared of in the playoffs?
Sucks.
Are you scared of 49ers?
I'm scared of literally anybody. I'm scared of Dak. That's the problem. Like it's not like
Scared of my
I'm
own
scared of the
team.
matchup. Like I'm scared of Dak crumbling. It sucks.
He's
Do you
got
disagree?
he's just yes, no, like he hasn't answered those questions besides the Bucks win against the aging Tom Brady, but I don't know. Yeah, we're right on that. I mean, truth be told, let's figure it out. I mean, it only takes one win, right?
I feel like this is a year. You only have a couple of windows where your offense and defense are like in sync. And I feel like the Cowboys offense is good enough to go win a Super Bowl. And I feel like the defense is definitely good enough to go win a Super Bowl. At this point, like it's on Dak to lead the offense that way, right?
Yeah. All right,
At the end of the day, it's on the quarterback, and that's why I'm able to give so much criticism towards Justin Herbert, because I feel like I can give it towards my own quarterback, right?
Ooh.
Listen, I'm not. We're gonna talk about Justin Herbert later. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna say he's been the best quarterback in the league or anything. But let's talk about the Cowboys as the unbiased fan here towards the Cowboys. The question is, are they fraudulent? I don't really think it can be described as fraudulent because the thing is y'all are kind of in a good place where no one's really talking about y'all. They're all talking about the Eagles versus the 49ers. Eagles 49ers. That's what everyone in the league is kind of talking about, especially with the Eagles beating the Bills and the Chiefs this past week. That y'all are kind of in that sneaky third spot. Uh, I will say the only things that I think could hold y'all back is one, y'all have lost to the 49ers and the Eagles. If you play the Eagles in the playoffs, I know you said you like your chances, but you're not playing in AT&T Stadium. You're going to play in Philadelphia, probably on a night game with the Philadelphia fans.
Last
That
time
kind of like me,
came
huh?
down to last time we played them, it came down to like one play where Shoemaker was like that inch off. Like the game was a toss.
Game of inches, pal.
I
Game of
know.
inches.
Yeah,
It is.
touch push.
Ifs and was, and also that was back early in the season when we were talking about how the Eagles weren't looking good. They weren't able to finish against these teams. Well, they've been playing pretty damn good ball lately. So I don't think y'all are fraudulent by any means. Y'all have the talent. The only other thing I don't like is I don't feel like your team's really built to come from behind. Like if y'all, I think y'all overcome one 14-point deficit all year and won.
We've never
Most of these
trailed.
games, huh?
We haven't trailed once at AT&T Stadium.
See, that's another thing. Like, yeah, we talked
Do
off
we have to
camera.
though? Do we
Well,
have to?
we talked about off cameras. One of the things we like about the Eagles is the fact they've won in different ways. They've won overtime games, they've won close ones, they've blown out people. Like y'all are blowing out these really crappy teams, but I haven't seen y'all like come from behind or like have very many like very close wins like last second. Y'all had one against the Chargers, but the Chargers suck. So I
I don't
mean,
know how many come from behind wins the Cowboys will have though. Like the close wins part is fair. But like come from behind wins with the defense that we have, like honestly, Deron Bland has scored 5 touchdowns this season. There's no reason to expect that he's not going to score at least another like 2, right? Like if he's going at the pace that he's going at. And then we have an amazing pass rush that causes fumbles. Like our defense scores points. There's not a lot of reason for our team to come from behind. You look at teams like the Packers or the Steelers, the way they run their offense is in a way that they don't make mistakes and they let their defense take control of the game. And I don't necessarily think that the Cowboys follow it in the exact same way. But I also think McCarthy understands that Dak doesn't have to make these spectacular throws and put himself in trouble where he was last year throwing out of those 17 interceptions. Like we're leaning on our defense a little bit more this year, and I think it's unlikely that we're going to have to come from behind until it's playoff time. Like
that's what I'm
and
saying
then
here.
and then it's Dak, and then I agree
Yeah,
with you.
that's what I'm saying. In the regular season, y'all coasting. Y'all are gonna make the playoffs. It's almost a shoe in. Y'all probably gonna be the 5 seed. Be the top wild card. But like in the playoffs, you can't count on Deron Bland getting a pick six in the playoffs. Like defenses are great. Like he has 5, and that's amazing. But like that's something you lean on. You lean on a good defense to shut down points. But like I looked at the 49ers game. Y'all start the game down 14-0. Dak then has to start making these big time throws. And that's just not what Dak is like on a. I'm not gonna say. I thought it's not giving Dak enough credit if I say he's an elite game manager because he does kind of have
I
like
know
some
I
gamer moments.
yeah.
But like he's not out. He's not one of those guys when you say like I need someone to go out there and play hero ball. Like you think of Patrick Mahomes, think of Lamar Jackson. You do think of Justin
Josh
Herbert,
Allen.
Joe Herbo,
Josh Allen,
Yeah.
bro. There's
Joe
only
Burrow.
guys that can do that, and like that's
Yeah,
what
Herbert's one by the way. But
he was
that's the problem. That's the problem I think with the Cowboys. If the defense can have like the most lights out, like a Ravens early 2000s Ravens type run in the playoffs, then yeah, you can do that. But when you're going up against a high powered offense like the Eagles,
But
like
we
the
don't have
49ers,
Joe Flacco, and it's not like our offense is better. Like I think our defense is that good and can perform that well. And I don't think there's too many like the Jets too. Like there's a couple defenses in the league right now that completely dominate teams. I think the Cowboys offense is good enough to make it through. We just need Dak not to make mistakes. That's the big thing.
no, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think y'all are fraudulent at all. I just don't think that
tell
y'all
me
are
the
like the
ceiling.
number 1 or number 2 pick.
Tell me the ceiling. If we
The
go,
ceiling for y'all is Super Bowl. Like you can win the Super
This is
Bowl.
Super Bowl year.
I,
This is
I
totally.
just I just wouldn't put my money on it. That's my thing.
Yeah.
You can win the Super Bowl, but I'm not picking you as the favorite.
all right, we're
So
facing
I don't think
720. We're playing the Eagles. The line is -3.5. Who you taking?
I'm taking Eagles. They
I'm
beat you
taking
by 5
Eagles
last
too.
time.
Uh,
They're playing the best ball of the year. I think it kind of took them a little while Shane Steichen was gone at the beginning of
And
the
they
year.
get calls, bro. Have you seen those calls that they get? It's
Those are bad.
absolutely
Those are bad.
insane.
I don't want to talk about the calls, but those are pretty bad. But like their defense, they let up points. Like the fact that they were down 3 quarters to the Bills, who just got a new OC. What is that about? The Bills suck.
I mean, you can't really telegraph something you haven't seen a lot of film on. This offense for the Bills has not been out. And once Ken Dorsey was fired, they had been playing better. So
I've also been talking bad on Josh Allen, but I've seen some things lately that he's been like one of the better quarterbacks this year as far as like clutch situations and like I think his team around him isn't that great this year. Maybe not the offense because I thought they made some upgrades, but I think the defense made a significant step back and people aren't realizing that.
So,
all right.
last thing about those two teams, the Shaq Leonard piece, right? Am I getting the name right?
Yeah.
How does that help the Cowboys and does that help the Eagles? Because he's
Going
visiting.
to the Eagles.
Wait, where did he get signed somewhere? Did I miss something?
No,
So he
went
just
to the Cowboys and he visited the Eagles today.
Oh, I mean, he'd be great for either team. Whoever gets him, that's a plus. It's at least depth.
Okay.
So,
That the Cowboys have.
um,
Okay.
switching from a playoff lock in the Cowboys to a lottery lock in the Chargers. That's right, we're talking about my team. Probably, hopefully, for the last time this year because I'm so tired of actually talking about them.
Don't
I
worry
am
about
too.
it.
They were horrible. I want to go on just a little monologue, a little rant, because I want you guys to hear me. Tell me if I'm wrong anywhere. This team is horrible. Brandon Staley is god awful at his job. He is yelling at reporters, talking about he'll keep doing the play calls. The last 2 weeks when his defense has played decent and we still lost, he goes out there and like basically, oh no, well I did my job. Defense played well. You're the head coach, idiot. That means offense and defense is under your umbrella. You can put a Kellen Moore and hold on, let me get through this. All right.
I
Yes,
will.
Kellen Moore might have not played well. Yes, we had turnovers, and you can't really teach ball security, but you can't just go out there and say, oh well, I did my part. No, you're the head coach. Everything is your part. You have your fingerprints on everyone. Okay? You're the one. You and Tom Telesco, the GM, had decided we're going to draft Quentin Johnston over guys like Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison. Okay, I would rather have. I mean, we tanked Dells in the damn third round. He'd be better right now. Quentin Johnston got benched, and we put in a guy named Alec Erickson. Guarantee you guys don't know who the hell that is. Okay, so I'm just so tired of hearing about like when is he gonna get fired? Who's gonna be the next head coach? And then him come out and we are keeping him week after week. We're 7 losses and 4 wins. Two of our 4 wins come against Zach Wilson benched and Tyler Badgett or whatever, also not playing anymore. So and I don't even know where to go from here. I'm just sad. The season is over. Yeah, crash. The only person I don't put fault on is Justin Herbert. You can say what you want about him. He hasn't had his
It's
best year.
insane.
The last 2 games, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen both each had a fumble. Keenan Allen's dropped touchdown passes. His one interception he had against the Ravens was a Hail Mary at the very end of the first half. Like if you want to count that against him, go ahead. He's only had 6 interceptions in total, counting that Hail Mary. So don't get me wrong, he hasn't played the best, but with what he's had, a turnstile of an offensive line besides Rashawn Slater, Mike Evans get hurt, Quentin Johnston's suffering from mental illness, Josh Palmer also hurt. So now we have our wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 6 and 7 out there once again. It's the same crap every year. It's never gonna get better. The just franchise horrible. Justin Herbert's on that career arc of Matthew Stafford, where he's going to be put on a dog shit team year in and year out. And when he's 35, he's going to get traded to like the New York Giants or something, who's good by then, and win them the Super Bowl. And everyone forget about his time in the Chargers. All right, I feel better now. I got that out. Anybody want to speak on the Chargers?
I think the
Go
reason
ahead.
they fired him is because you ride it. Like you guys want to get the lottery pick. You guys just want to go get that. Go get a top.
Yeah, but don't you want to find out if Kellen Moore is going to be your next head coach, or if you want to go find someone else? If you give Kellen Moore like that last
But
few
you're
weeks,
complaining about the offense over the past 2 weeks. This is the only
no,
point that I want. This is the only point that I want to make about this because I think the
okay.
Chargers. I think you brought up a lot of fair points that probably at this point you have an aging Eckler, aging Keenan Allen, and a horrible defense. The only saving grace for this team, right, is Justin Herbert. But the only point that I want to make is that you've talked so bad about this head coach. He's a defensive head coach. He calls the defensive play calls. And you've also put Kellen Moore on this pedestal that both Zach and I have told you not to put him on. And now it sounds like you want him to be a head coach. He's
Well,
put
no,
your no,
okay.
really quick. I'll let you
Yeah.
finish.
You go.
He put your team in a winning position as far as the defense goes 2 weeks in a row, and you were unable to do it with Kellen Moore. I think like take Justin Herbert out of the equation. Like let's look at Kellen Moore. Like this dude has not been the offensive firepower that you thought that he was going to bring to your team, right?
This is where I
There's
go
no
now.
way. Yeah, this is for you. There's no way that Kellen Moore is
I
what you
think
thought he was going to
the
be. And
biggest
there's
thing
no way you
nobody
want him to be your head coach. You should be wanting a
the
Belichick or like
the
somebody who
the,
actually knows what they're doing.
the league is going towards offensive minds first off. But let me say this as
Teams,
well.
teams, not
He ain't
offense.
an
Um,
offensive mind. He sucks.
but the thing is, first off, Kellen Moore, we scored 20 on the Packers. The Packers had a good defense. Once again, he's dealing with injuries. And you said that we got put in a position to win, not against the Packers. All right, when you allow Jordan Love to have an easy 20-yard touchdown, like we got the lead, we have 3 minutes left. You have a defense against Jordan Love who had not been playing good up
What did
until
they
then.
score low? Like 23?
That was their second highest scoring game of the
I
season up to that
know,
point.
but if you want to put Kellen Moore in charge of the offense, like you should be expecting more than 23 points against they
And
had good
no,
pressure that game and like I get it, but
and he hasn't been perfect, but I also like kind of feel bad for him that his idea was we have Quentin, we have Mike Williams, and we have Keenan out there, and
Who do you think Mike was?
Corey Lin. No one talks about the fact that we had Corey Linsley, who's an All-Pro center. He's
yeah.
been out for most of the year, so the offensive line has been banged up. The weapons have been banged up. We're still finding ways to put up. I mean, you got to think 3 weeks ago we put up 38 on the Lions. I know the Lions aren't the best defense. We put up 38 points. You should win. And what do? We lost that game. It's losing all these close games. Yes, the defense has been good, but like situationally, like if you just looked at the Ravens versus Chargers, you go, okay, 20, hold the Ravens 20 points, it's pretty good. But then you watch the game and you go, okay, the Chargers score in the fourth quarter, it's 13-10. All we need you to hold either Justin Tucker to a field goal or punt, and there's like 3 minutes left on the clock. And on a third down, just a handoff to Zay Flowers. He books it for a touchdown in the game, basically. So, and even if the defense keeps playing like this, it's too little too late. Like, this defense has not been good for a long time. The last 2 weeks, yes, they've been better, but I don't like overall sample size, year three, I can't look at a 2 week span and be like, yeah, y'all playing a lot better. And I'm not saying Kellen Moore should be the head coach, but I feel like he's in contention, fire Stanley, see if Kellen Moore can rally the troops the same way the Las Vegas Raiders head coach has been doing. See if they can just change the culture a little bit because it feels like players are just kind of tired. All right, and not to mention, like after this year, Austin Eckler's gone, Keenan's old. Like we don't know how Keenan's still playing great. Austin's not. Austin's been really bad.
I
Joshua
think
Kelly's
that's
gonna be
the
starting
problem. You're
running back
spending
next year.
all the Chargers spend all their money on players that aren't contributing or like not contributing in the way that their contract is. So Justin Herbert's highest paid player on the team, and you have Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Derwin James, who has not played well this year.
Joey
Like those
Bosa.
are three top. Like after Justin Herbert, we can take him out of the discussion. Like those are, and then Bosa's hurt. Like you have people that are supposed to be contributing that you're playing 20 million plus dollars a year. Like it's not going to work out. I don't
Let's
see us talking about the Chargers for a very long time.
no,
Like yeah, it's
no.
going to be a rebuild here soon.
It's probably and the only person I'll keep on the defense is Derwin because before Brandon Staley got there, Derwin was playing great. It can't just me imagine that all of a sudden Derwin's been horrible now that the horrible defensive genius has been there.
Yeah, but
But we're
you gotta like
go ahead, Zach.
you gotta trade some pieces away for like something. Derwin would be a
Trade
piece.
Joey. Trey, I don't want to trade Derwin. Plus, I got his jersey. It's a little bit of a in my heart. He'll always be a Charger.
Invested.
But okay, let's we're gonna move on here to potentially our last topic. And that is now that the season's winding down, we're knowing who's going towards the playoffs, who's going to be on the top 10 picks. Which team do you want and which team do you think will win the Caleb Williams sweepstakes? Zach, you got any? What are your thoughts
I want Ryan to go first.
on Caleb Williams?
I want Ryan to go first.
I really
Okay.
hope he ends up in New England and Belichick stays. I think it'd be fun to see like what happens. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. There's like Caleb Williams could stay at USC for a year. There's also a lot of football to be played, so like who knows what that first pick is gonna be. But I don't know. I'm not a Patriots lover. I don't love the Brady dynasty and that era, but it would also be kind of cool at the same time to see a great quarterback come in there and win a couple Super Bowls with Belichick after Brady. So that's my what I want to see.
That's what you want to see. That would actually be pretty cool. Hey, is
Don't
the
love Caleb Williams, so I
I
don't
don't
like. I'm not
understand.
necessarily rooting for success for the kid, but
I
at
I
the same time, like let him go to New England and learn the hard way.
I feel like New England and Belichick, or New England and like Caleb Williams, are just complete different styles. Like Belichick wants a guy who's just gonna sit in the pocket and be like that Tom Brady, Mac Jones type, and Caleb Williams seems like he's more of a Patrick Mahomes, work out of
Think
structure.
about like 3 years ago, though, they started Cam Newton for like a year and a half.
Yeah,
Not that it
they
was a great
weren't. I don't think
situation,
that
but
they
like,
weren't looking for
no,
Cam Newton for long term.
I know, but like teams can make it work.
Belichick's the kind of guy who's gonna say we should take Drake May over Caleb Williams.
Yeah, but he's about to lose that power. That's one of the things that they're taking
Yeah,
away.
he might be fired. Who knows? Zach, who do you want to see get Caleb Williams?
As much as I want to keep all the elite quarterbacks in the AFC, I think the Bears trading away Justin Fields for some picks and going to pick him would be really fun. And then taking Marvin Harrison or Brock Bowers, one of those, I think that'd be awesome. But also
They
just
may not be able to get uh, Marvin Harrison. They got 4 wins on the season now.
they do. But what
They're
about
like right there, like this, huh?
with the so what? Yeah, what pick are they? Because they got the number one.
They'd be they'd be like 1-7, 1-8. So they might get Brock Bowers. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
They,
Just Marvin's probably going to.
I just think it'd be cool. But then this goes back to: do you want to build a team, or do you want to have a quarterback and then you know that you have the safety net because you have a quarterback? Like, what's the good way of building a team? So I go back and forth because Houston has been bad, but they threw a good quarterback into a good situation. They were good. So like, what's your way of building a team if y'all had to play GM?
Feel like there's two
Great
ways of doing
quarterback.
it. You either do like San Francisco or early 2000s Seattle, or you go find a really good quarterback.
Yeah, that's kind of the only
So
the only two
it's like
ways.
2 ways.
Um, I'm kind of with Ryan.
It's easier
I'm
to
hope.
find one dude than spend a whole lot of money
Yeah,
and try to put a whole team together and put the right weapons around that quarterback. I think that's why teams consistently draft quarterbacks and keep trying it year after year. But we've seen like only pockets of success with great defenses and weapons around a decent quarterback.
Yeah, but
yeah.
like building out the offensive line and then going outside. Because I didn't know that centers are paid more than tight ends. I found that out the other day.
I mean, centers are kind of the quarterback of the offensive line. They
Yeah,
set the alignments,
I always thought
pass
it was left
protection, all
tackle.
that.
Left tackle was huge.
In my mind, I guess what I want and what I think is going to happen are two different things. I actually think New England will end up with Caleb Williams, like you said, Ryan. I do also think that Bill Belichick will be fired as well. So I think there will be like
True.
a whole new coach, new play or new coach, new quarterback regime. What I would love to happen is if they could somehow do it. Don't think it's possible. But if Atlanta would like trade Drake London, Bijan, and a first round, a couple
No
firsts,
way.
seeing Caleb Williams in Atlanta would be hype.
That'd be sick. They'd be super good next year, especially if they didn't have to give up Bijan, but no way that
Um,
happens.
Steelers trade away
Ryan, actually,
PJ.
I
Do it.
want to go back to what you're saying because I've been feeling the same way a little bit about Caleb Williams. What's making you kind of turn away from Caleb?
I don't know. He's just, you don't see a whole lot of diva quarterbacks. Typically, the successful quarterbacks in the NFL are have their head on their shoulders, know how to answer questions, don't show a whole lot of emotion, whether that's right or wrong. And then you see Caleb Williams showing his personality more than quarterbacks typically do, painting his fingernails, and then crying on the sideline after games. Not that any of that's wrong. Like, I don't have an issue with that. Like, you see that from running backs, wide receivers. But you just typically don't see that from a quarterback. You don't see Patrick Mahomes after an emotional game going and crying on the sideline. Like, the quarterback position, you have to be special and have a different head on your shoulders. And I don't think that Caleb Williams has that. Like, sitting at a bowl games, like, you can name 10 things just off the top of my head where I'm like, this dude just doesn't have it.
You want to know what he kind of reminds me of a little bit? Not to a certain extent. He kind of
Johnny,
reminds me of like Johnny Manziel.
little, just not the same, but a little. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
with
he
you.
has a little bit like he knows his shit stinks, so he's letting the world know.
I get they're
Like,
getting paid now.
Come on.
I get they're getting
huh?
paid now. They're getting millions of dollars, but they're just kids. They're just
Yeah, but
Yeah, but they're gonna be
like
just
as
kids when they go into the NFL, and
I
like
mean,
that's what happened to Johnny.
yeah, like you like at some point someone's got to sit you down and be like, you're going to be a first round pick in the NFL. You have to start acting like it. Like Ryan said, like Patrick Mahomes, think like Lamar Jackson. They show their emotions like every once in a while, but they aren't just like you're kind of supposed to be the leader, the guy that everyone else is looking up to lead into a game.
Everybody
And
else
when
does
you're
it, like
who's the defense
corners, wide
coordinator now?
receivers, O line, everybody does it, but it's the quarterback. You just can't.
the
Who's
It's not your
quarterback,
job.
you're the face of the franchise, and you can't be a crying face. All right, they don't like if you lose
Think
a
about
Super Bowl,
Kyler.
huh?
Think
Yeah,
about Kyler and like the way he acted in school and the way he's acted in college and how he's been unsuccessful.
yeah. All right, before we go, any hot takes y'all want to shoot off, or you
I
want
want
to
to hear
hold
about
them until
y'all's
next
fantasy
week?
matchup. I want to hear about this.
I got nothing.
I
Since the
I I,
grave.
I beat Ryan because Justin Fields took some knees. Clap it up, clap it up. Comes down to the last 2 weeks. All right. Well, until next week, we eventually got to do a basketball podcast because our last one apparently wouldn't upload. But we'll be doing that sometime
What?
soon. Yeah, we'll be doing that sometime soon. We'll be back with some more football.
Mavericks
Until
with the
then,
third richest owner.
all right, we'll see you next time.
Luxury tax, here we come.